What is up, everybody? It is your boy, Pigskin Pete. Guess what? Still in Nashville. It's about 12 o'clock on Thursday, local time here, Central Time, and we're still here. We were supposed to fly out last night. Flight got canceled, so Southwest let us rebook our flight for tonight. We don't fly out of here till like 9 or 10 local time, so I won't even get home probably until about midnight, 1 a.m. or something tonight or tomorrow, whatever. But anyway, look, there's a lot worse places to be stuck for an extra day than Nashville, Tennessee. I've had a great time since I've been here. And so we still have another 4 or 5 hours to enjoy the sights and the sounds of Nashville. And I'll be back, too. I like this place. It's a really cool city. Look, I laugh about the stadium. That's the Titans Stadium, which is a complete dump. I went to the Vanderbilt Stadium. That's also a complete dump. But in all, a very cool city. So I'll definitely be back. This is the scene of the crime, too. This is exactly where they dumped the goalpost into the river. I don't even know what the name of this river is. Is it the Nashville River? I really have no idea. But Vanderbilt Stadium is probably about 4 or 5 miles from here. And they tore that goalpost down. They marched that goalpost 4 or 5 miles down through downtown Nashville. Broadway is right there. They took it down Broadway, and then they dumped it in the river right here. So anyway, do y'all remember, I guess it was, I don't know, well, the past year, for sure, ever since January 1st, after Clemson beat Kentucky in the bowl game. And so for the past 8 months, 9 months now, and even so recently as a month and a half ago, a lot of you were on here telling me that Dabo Swinney's washed up, the game has passed him by. Some of you even said he was going to get fired, particularly after the Georgia game happened. A lot of you are saying Dabo Swinney's going to get fired. Some of you said he was just going to quit, which never really made sense to me. What else? Oh, Cade Klubnik is a bust. I remember that a lot. Clemson has no wide receivers. Like all these things that just 6 weeks later or so, everybody's completely flipped on, right? You've even got a lot of the national media and other head coaches in college football coming out and defending Dabo Swinney. Why? Well, a part of that has to do with what we're seeing going on with a lot of these other schools. Florida State. Like Florida State's like the prime example of this. And I'll even admit, I didn't see what's going on at Florida State this year. I don't think anybody saw coming. I mean, I think, well, I knew that DJ was no good, and I tried to tell the Florida State fans that DJ was no good, and I think a lot of people knew that DJ was no good. But outside of that, look, nobody saw them being this bad. And so what you're seeing now is a lot of national media have to eat their words. A lot of people on YouTube, a lot of people on social media, the internet, are having to eat their words. And I'm not even claiming that Clemson's going to go out there and make a run in the playoffs and win a national title. It's still way too early in the season. We're about halfway through the season. It's still way too early to say any of that. So I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is now we're starting to see, because we're about 5 or 6 years into the transfer portal, a few years into the NIL thing, and this has been my stance from the beginning of this, especially as it relates to Dabo Swinney and the transfer portal, is I've been saying that over and over and over and over again. I've been saying it's way too early. This is still all so new to what we're all used to in the sport to determine whether or not Dabo Swinney is actually right about this. And again, I still think that Dabo Swinney should probably utilize the portal a little bit differently than he's doing. But I think overall, he's got the right approach here. And so Clemson plays Wake Forest this weekend. And you see remarks from Dave Clawson, the head coach at Wake Forest, in his press conference leading up to the game, praising Dabo Swinney for the way that he runs his program. And you see a lot of the national media now backtracking about what they said about Dabo Swinney. So, listen, there has to be a middle ground there. At least in my opinion, I'm not claiming, because this is... Anytime you criticize Dabo Swinney, there's going to be Clemson fans out there that are like, oh, you think you know better than Dabo Swinney? Or, why aren't you work for Clemson? Why aren't they paying you? No, nobody's paying me for my opinion, except for YouTube, I guess. They throw me a couple of dollars every month for my opinion. But other than that, nobody's paying me for my opinion. But there is some sort of middle ground there. But it turns out, imagine this, Dabo Swinney is right about a lot of this. He's right about a lot of it. And he's proving a lot of people wrong right now. So I've said 100 times, 1,000 times, if not 1,000,000 times, any of you who have been watching me for the past few years on here, I would not trade Dabo Swinney for any other head coach in the country, period. Not because I think he's the best coach ever, but he is the right coach for Clemson University. He's been the right coach for Clemson University since the day he stepped foot and took that job there, period. He might not be the best head coach at Georgia. He might not be the best head coach at Ohio State. He might not be the best head coach for Michigan. He might not be the best head coach for Southern Cal. He might not be the best head coach for Texas. But he's the best coach for Clemson University. He fits the culture of the city, of the university, and the mindset of the team. And in my opinion, he's still one of the top 2 or 3 coaches, active coaches in the country. And I wouldn't trade him for anything. And this day's been coming for a long time. The day that we can shut everybody up. Because none of y'all, well, I'll say none of y'all, but most of y'all watching this right now had written off Dabo Swinney. You just did. You did. And like I said, I've been saying it's way too early to know whether or not Dabo Swinney's right. And at this point of the season in 2024, it appears as if Dabo Swinney was right all along. And what you're probably going to start seeing, because of what you're seeing around the country with other teams who use the transfer portal too much, is you're going to start to see them try to emulate what Dabo's doing over time. I'm not saying next year or even 2026. Over time, I think Dabo Swinney's going to end up looking like he was in the right here. And a lot of us are going to have to eat our words. I've been very critical of Dabo Swinney for a lot of different reasons. Not really his coaching or his recruiting or even the NIL or transfer portal. I've been a little bit critical of the transfer portal. My criticism of Dabo Swinney has been the way that he talks about the fans and, the whole Tyler from Spartanburg deal. And, just, I don't know, sort of being tone deaf to the fans. And lo and behold, last week, our boy Kirby Smart, who's everyone's saying is the best coach in the country, right? There's no doubt about it that Georgia is one of the best football programs in the country. I mean, they have been for 4 or 5 years now, especially in the past 3 or 4 years. But he's got guys getting arrested on virtually a weekly basis. Now, I know I'm exaggerating a little bit. It's not every week, but haven't they had like 9 or 10 players arrested in this calendar year? And what does he do after the whatever directional school that they played last week? He's complaining about the fans not being loud enough or whatever it is. That is always a terrible look. Kirby Smart is doing what Dabo's been doing. And I know a lot of Georgia fans aren't happy about it. and I wouldn't be happy about it either. The worst thing, I don't know what is it about these is it because they're so revered and they've won so many games and won so many big games and get paid so much that they are completely so tone deaf to the fan base? I don't care. Look, Kirby Smart might really feel the way he feels. I'm sure he does about the fans. Dabo Swinney, probably the same thing. Really cares. Really feels the way he feels about the fans' reaction to losses. Somebody's got to pull you aside. Somebody's got to pull you aside. Somebody that works for you. Are they all just yes men that work for Georgia and work for Clemson? And by the way, Nick Saban did the same thing before he retired a couple of years ago. Y'all remember when he was complaining about the student section leaving at halftime when they were playing the Citadel or something? Like, somebody's got to pull these people aside and say, I don't care what you think about the fans leaving or not being loud enough or whatever the case is. Don't say it. Just don't say it. Like, absolutely nothing good comes out of that. Is there a single Georgia fan this week you know what? I'm not going to leave during the third quarter playing a directional school. I'm going to stay because Kirby Smart's mad at me. Not a single person's going to do that. Not a single person did it when Nick Saban said it, and there's not a single fan for Clemson when Dabo Swinney was bitching about the fans that gives a shit what he thinks about the fans. Not a single one. Somebody's got to pull these guys aside. You know what? I think maybe somebody did pull Dabo aside after the Tyler from Spartanburg thing, because he's been on a totally different mindset as far as the way he addresses the fans since then. I mean, he's gone like a complete 180-degree turn since Tyler from Spartanburg to now, to the point where he's kissing the asses of the fans, you know? So somebody must have got a hold of him. Maybe it was his wife. Usually it's people's wives that change their mind, because I'm hard-headed and stubborn as a mule. The only person that can get through this thick skull of mine with a tiny little brain inside of it is Mrs. Pete. That is 100% fact. So Mrs. Terry maybe got a hold of Nick Saban. I don't know what Kirby's wife's name is. She might have got a hold of him. And of course, Dabo's wife must have got a hold of him too. So anyway, yeah, leave your comments below about the Dabo Swinney situation, the Clemson situation, the clubfoot situation. And unfortunately, we got probably a blowout win. I'm not saying unfortunately we're going to win. I'm just saying it's Wake Forest. Wake Forest is, even by Wake Forest standards, just isn't very good this season. They did have a big upset last week, though. So anyway, Clemson goes to Wake Forest this weekend. And so we'll see how that goes. Klubnik is just, I mean, I know I know who they're playing. They're playing bad teams. I understand. Don't even bother typing who have they played, Klubnik's stat pad. You can't stat pad when you're playing one half of a football game every week. Stat padding happens in the third and fourth quarter, not in the first and second. These people that are saying that Dabo is trying to get Klubnik a Heisman Trophy and stat padding, they are playing more guys than any other, or at least as much as any other major college football program every single week, outside of the Georgia game. So, but Klubnik is he's playing confident. He's playing great. He's looking like the guy that we all thought he was going to be, the 5-star that we thought he was going to be. And hopefully he can continue that into October, November, and especially December, and hopefully January too. So anyway, leave your comments below. Hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't done that already. I'll be back with you guys when I get home. Hopefully everything goes good as far as the flight tonight. I think it's on time. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great day.